You make one too many of these Julia Child recipes, it goes straight to your head. So how about a Julia Child vegetable dish? Stuffed with meat, of course, but it's a vegetable dish. Welcome back to Jamie and Julia.
Oh! Bon appetit.
Excuse me while I reach off camera for my Volume 2, Mastering the Art of French Cooking from JC, and I promised a vegetable dish, and that's what we're gonna make, right here. Chou Farci, and that right there is a stuffed whole cabbage. The kind of dish that guests and family always seem to love because it has the hearty, earthy look and the rich, satisfying aroma that promise good eating. Good eating, good eating. We're gonna take this cabbage apart piece by piece. We're gonna fill it up with this mixture that's gonna include fresh sausage and ham, etc., etc. Braise it, sauce it, serve it up, and it's gonna look just like a beautiful decorated whole cabbage sitting on the serving platter. Parsley boiled potatoes and a rosé wine would go well with the cabbage. Well, we're gonna see about that too. Shall we get started? Sausage! 2 pounds worth. So we're gonna take it out of the sausage casing. Now Julia says preferably homemade. That's not happening, not today at least. One day. This is not French sausage or anything. This is a mild Italian pork sausage. Just do a little slice down through the casing. Off it goes. £2. 1 pound. I bought a terrible start. Double the amount of sausage that I need. I said 2 pounds, right? It says 2 cups, bracket 1 pound. I read that as 2 pounds for some reason. So I'm just gonna break up this sausage party. And yeah, that should all break up in the frying pan, I think. And then I'll just have all that for something else. All right, next plastic cutting board up. We need to dice up mild cured ham. 1.5 cups worth. Just to get those into even smaller pieces, which I think would be wise, just a community dice. Bring over 2 onions. Finely minced, or as minced as I can make them. A sharp knife today, but I don't care about the hacks. I just want to get it done. 2 cups of minced onions. Not 2 whole onions. Can I not read? This is 2 cloves of garlic mashed up into smithereens, but I was using 3. Don't tell anyone. 1/4 cup of parsley, minced up. So everything for the filling has been prepped. Mise en place the hell out of this thing. There's quite a bit going on, honestly, but what I have to do first is take my meat, head over the stove. I may need the onions too. Maybe the garlic as well. So what I gotta do first, that's unrelated to the filling, I gotta get this big old pot up to a boil. And this water will be salted, of course. Medium-sized frying pan. Medium heat going on this mofo. Sausage meat goes in. Break up the meat and saute. Snowman spatula today. This is what I think I'm supposed to be doing. Just break it up. Once the sausage begins to brown lightly, need a big bowl. A big bowl. Thank you. I'm going to remove the meat, but leave as much fat as I can in the pan. This took around 5-6 minutes. So the fat from the sausage is left in the pan. In goes the ham. And we're just gonna brown that lightly. The same deal as the sausage, out of the pan, into the bowl. Leave the fat. In goes the 2 cups of minced up onions. 8 to 10 minutes, translucent, you know, start to turn color a bit, you know how it goes. Onions are tender and have browned lightly. In they go to the bowl. Beat in the rest of the ingredients. So, 1/4 cup of minced up parsley. Holy crap, it's hot in here. Sauteing up the meat and the onions, standing in front of a big pot of boiling hot water. The camera almost fell off the table. Did you see that? It was a close call. Anyway, needless to say, I needed a bit of a costume change. Took off the wool sweater. I can breathe. Before we got started today, I boiled up some rice, and I need 2 cups worth. Just some long grain white rice. Half a teaspoon of ground sage. Then just pick this up. Never used this before. Half a teaspoon of caraway seeds. Get in those 2 cloves of mashed up garlic. That was actually 3 cloves. And then of course salt and some pepper. 1 egg. Let's get that in there as well. And now I'm just gonna beat this all together. Doesn't this look interesting? Cross that off the list. That's the stuffing. Let's move on to the cabbage, the star of this recipe. 2 different types of cabbage we can use, which is the flat-leafed, smooth-leaf cabbage, which is this one. That's what I picked up, right? Well, kind of doing some research, I realized that the preferred cabbage to use is the crinkled leaf cabbage. So I went to another store, picked up this, because that's what I found. I was like, all right, well that will do the job. But I was like not crazy about it, so I started walking home and I passed another shop that had an even nicer head of cabbage. There we go. And that's more the size that I need, right? But it still doesn't feel perfect. So I was like, well, I'm not thrilled about that either, but at least I found some. Well, I passed one more store and I found this right here, which is exactly what I was looking for. It's like the right size and it's like, feels like a healthy head of cabbage, unlike these 2 right here and the smooth leaf one here. So I don't need these. I feel like there's some cabbage soup in my future. I got what I need. This is nice. So what I gotta do, let's wash it. All right, I mean, this is a nice head of cabbage, come on. Now with a small knife, I'm just gonna make a bit of an incision here, cut out the core, 2 to 2.5 inches deep. So discard any outside leaves that seem tough or wilted. I think just the one. If I have the crinkled leaf Savoy cabbage, which I do, you usually need not blanch it to remove the leaves. Peel them off carefully so as not to tear them. Russian doll of cabbage. So we have reached the heart of this thing where the leaves are small and bend inward. So I'll just keep that off to the side. If I need it, I need it. I doubt I need it. In the pot of boiling water, I'm gonna drop as many of these leaves in as possible for 3 to 4 minutes until they are pliable enough to bend without breaking. Oh, for sure. The very confusing thing about all of this is, you know, 5 lines up, she said you don't need to blanch the Savoy cabbage. Remember, I said that out loud. In this very same paragraph, a few lines down, she says, and this is for the Savoy cabbage, it says drop the cabbage leaves into the boiling water. This is called blanching. That's what it says. So I don't know, make up your mind, I guess. 10 to 12 slices of lean salt pork, approximately 4 by 1.5 inches and 3/8 inch thick. Go to sleep. Thank you. So I did that wrong. I read that completely incorrectly. No surprise. So I need 4 by 1.5 inches and 3/8 inch thick. I get it now. Unfortunately, I've done a bit of a hack job when it comes to the salt pork, but you know, that's, I gotta work with it. So let's move on to the next part. I gotta drop it into the boiling water. Oh, cabbage flavored water. 10 minutes later, get that pork out of there. Drop the slices. I've done that. Drain and rinse in cold water. Oh, I can do that. Set aside on paper toweling. Paper toweling for you. That's fantastic. Now what I gotta do? Meanwhile, cook the vegetables. What vegetables? Medium onion and carrot. That makes sense. I got 2 tablespoons of pork fat in my frying pan render, my sliced onion and carrot. Just kind of want to just like order in tonight. The problem isn't the recipe. I mean, there's been a couple confusing things along the way, but the problem is how long these things take. So putting all that together took up a fair bit of time, and then I can see in advance that it's going to take 2.5 to 3 hours in the oven. But I'm over here, stuffing the cabbage, which there's a whole way of doing it. And I guess I gotta get in the mood. So if you have struggled to mold cabbage with strings, towels, cheesecloth, or even the net shopping bag that is occasionally used in Provence, we think you will welcome the ease of the following bowl molding method. It is using our favorite Charlotte mold. Need to lightly butter that. Lay several strips of pork in the bottom of the mold, and then cover with the lightly browned onions and carrots. So starting with the greenest cabbage leaves, curve side down and stem up. Think like that. Cover the bottom and some of the sides. All right, sprinkle with some salt, some pepskis. There's something about this recipe that is just written funny. So spread a layer of the stuffing over the lower third of the leaves. I'm gonna just pat them dry with the towel before I add them in there. Cover stuffing with cabbage leaves, plural, which leads me to believe add a couple and then add a little more stuffing. Salt and pepper. I have enough stuffing to feed an army here, so I'm just gonna add stuffing on each leaf. As you build up layers, slip leaves down the side of the mold to be sure sides are well covered. I think they are. When you have used all the stuffing and the mold is filled to within 1/2 inch of the top, this is overflowing. 1/2 inch to the top. So once we've reached the summit, we're gonna fill with a final layer of leaves. I think we've just done too much here. Too many layers. Because this is not sustainable. This recipe is not well written. There, I said it. So I just went online trying to look this up, and there's other methods to doing this, but not this method. I can't find this method anywhere online besides this book. I even think that Julia abandoned this method for like an aluminum foil method that Jacques Pepin had introduced her. It's a whole other story, but I'm not getting into that now. What I've done is added one too many leaves with filling, so I'm just gonna take one out because I think this is getting ridiculous. I see what you mean here. Okay. And then get the salt pork on top of that. Pour enough stock outside leaves and side of mold to come about 1 inch from the top. Preheat oven to 400 degrees F. It's already done. Mold comes to a simmer on top of the stove. Cover with some parchment paper. She says wax paper, I'm using parchment. Cover goes on top. So this is gonna braise in the oven for 2.5 to 3 hours. But in 20 minutes, I'll check on it and I gotta do a couple things. Once I got the liquid in this old Charlotte mold here up to a regular simmer, I'm gonna turn the temperature down to 350 and then I baste it, occasionally with the old baster here. If the liquid drops below the halfway mark, I'm gonna add a little more stock, but we're good. With any Julia Child recipe, it comes with the sauce. It's a guarantee. Let's start off with the tomatoes. I got 5 of them on a vine. Boiling hot water for 10 seconds. And that makes for easy peeling. Stem comes out, cut them in half crosswise. Thank you very much. And the sieve. Me, please. Thank you. Squeeze them gently to remove the seeds and the juice. And we roughly chop. On a low heat saucepan. In goes a tablespoon of pork fat. Render that down. 1/4 cup of finely minced onions. Stir these now, stir them occasionally. On a low heat, lid goes on. Cook this for 10 minutes. Whoop. Tender and translucent, but not browned. In goes 1 clove of mashed garlic. It is all in there. I'll be right back. Mashed garlic. The 1 pound of tomatoes. 1/4 teaspoon of sage. Salt and pepper to taste. We gotta simmer that, so cover it. 10 minutes. We promised some parsleyed boiled potatoes, right? Man of my word. After 10 minutes, I'm gonna take the sauce off the heat. Ooh. Set it aside. Cool. So, this is a big deal. Keep the cover on the mold and drain cooking liquid into this tomato sauce base. This has catastrophe written all over it. Do not let go of this lid, man. Hold on for dear life. I'm still in one piece. Sauce should thicken lightly. Okay, we'll get this over on a simmer. I gotta remove the pork from the top. This is happening right now, whether I'm ready or not. So I gotta flip this thing, and I don't know what this cabbage is gonna look like. So I gotta remove the pork and the vegetables from the top. Gotta pat the pork with a paper towel, and then I'm gonna brown it on a frying pan. It's just, the recipe never ends, man. Brown them lightly. There's no way in hell I'm switching plates, so there's gonna have to be a bit of a shimmy shake here to get this into the center without ruining everything. Is it possible? Oh, it's very possible. Use this drawing as a guide. She puts 5 pieces of pork on top. Gotcha, 5 pieces. This is a Polish feast if I've ever seen one.
It's kind of like a giant cabbage roll, because cabbage rolls have rice and pork.
It is a giant cabbage roll.
That's Polish.
Yeah. Spoon this sauce around the edge of this cabbage. Oh, this brings out all the colors now, doesn't it? I forgot about the potatoes. See, here they are, and I'm gonna throw some parsley in there with the boiled buttered potatoes. Shake them all about, hokey pokey style. This is just something that's extra. Decorate with a little parsley on top. Order up! Much room for improvement in the plating department of the show, I am aware, but that's a whole different thing. Before I dig into this, remember what Julia said way back when. Parsley boiled potatoes and a rosé wine would go well with the cabbage. Well, here's the parsley boiled potatoes. I just kind of like winged it. They look pretty good. However, a rosé wine would go well with the cabbage, right? We'll see. Little rosé. It's like the end of the day. It is like, honestly, it is currently 11:44 at night. So I'm about to dig into my whole stuffed cabbage, plate full of goodies here, and pour myself a nice cold glass of rosé. What are you doing at 11:44 at night? To good health. All right, Jules, let's see what this is all about. Whoa. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. This is epic. Every component on the plate, in the glass, all together. It's perfect. I think it was one of the best, like, just full meals I've had on this show since, I don't know, last week, I guess. I'm not gonna get into the details of everything I just ate because there's just too much to capture on that plate, and it's way too late in the day, or the next day. I think you should give it a try. Only if you want to, though. It took a long time to make it. So what are you gonna call it? Perfect peasant food. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir. Right now, as of now, I just need to follow whatever joy you can find. And I just ate that entire plate of food. It's gonna sit in my belly for the rest of the night.